decided to really get serious about building a business, there was actually something that was such a key component in having success that I wanted to share it with you guys today, okay? So back in 2015, there was actually this amazing structure that was actually built in Taiwan. And it was this huge, huge structure. It was a small town outside of like South Taiwan. And this structure was amazing, guys. It was actually 17 stories tall, beautiful on the outside. It was all glass. It was unbelievable. And they worked really, really hard at putting it together. And then what happened is in the summer of 2016, there was a crazy earthquake. Like, I'm talking crazy, like 6.4 off the scale. Like, there was massive injuries, and it was unbelievably sad what happened here. But what I think is so unbelievable that happened with this structure is this structure actually, guys, it didn't like completely like implode. It didn't like crumble, but what happened is it actually fell sideways. So when the entire structure actually fell sideways, they were able to actually look inside of what they call the pylons, okay? And pylons are like kind of the beams, right? The structure that builds this entire building. It goes like deep into the soil, right? It's like, and that's really where it helps this building become really strong, right? So what they ended up doing is they actually ended up investigating this building, and you would not even believe what happened is that they went in there to investigate, and inside of these pylons, you won't even believe it, were empty. Were completely empty, you guys. And it was empty. And matter of fact, inside of the walls of this structure were empty, like in the construction walls were empty paint cans. They actually thought like that was actually going to keep this structure together, right? And in those pylons of this huge building, again, guys, 17-story building was empty, right? And so obviously that's a reason that the business or their building wasn't solid. And I want you to understand, like, our business has so much to do with that analogy, because if your pylons, which I'm going to talk about today, are not strong, right? You're going to build a business that is not on the rock. You're going to build a business that is on the sand. You're going to build a business that is going to completely fall over. Now, here's the thing I want you guys to know is that the foundation of our business is one word. How many of you guys know what your business is? One word, okay? Drop in the chat if you guys think it, you know what the one word is. Drop in the chat. Your foundation of your business is built on one thing. What do you guys think it is? What do you think it is? I want to wait to see if you guys put it in here. One thing. People must be taking slow. You, okay, no. Good guess, though. What else? What else? What else do you guys think it's built on? Believe? That's a good one. Consistency? Good one. Believe. All right. So the answer is this, okay? Your foundation is built on one thing for your business. Trust. Trust. Trust, okay? So I am going to talk about today, I'm going to give you guys some tips that help me create trust inside of my organization. Okay, it's kind of like, for those of you that have ever read the book by John Maxwell, he talks about one of his laws is the law of solid ground. How many of you guys want to build a business that is solid? Solid ground, unwavable, you know what I mean? Like not wavering, solid, right? So trust. So let's talk about it, okay? So how do you, because there's a different things, guys. There are ways to earn trust in your organization, and there's ways to lose it. And a lot of us, we don't understand that we're losing trust every single day in our organization, whether you know it or not. Okay, whether you know it or not, that's what's happening. So when Tony and I, when we first really started looking at building our business, we were like, man, we have got to build a trust where we really learn how to take ownership of our business. Okay, so the very first thing I want you to guys write down, I know all of you guys are taking notes, is number one, communicate. Okay, how you communicate with your team is everything. Okay, everything. People get caught up in like needing to know all these things to become like the next level leader. But the reality is these three things I'm going to talk about. If you don't have these things, no one is going to follow you. No one is going to be like, she's got me, he's got me. Like they're not going to. Okay, so communicate. How do you communicate with your team? First thing inside of this communication is understanding you've got to take ownership of what you do every day. Communicating, your team needs to feel like, man, they communicate a lot. Man, they're over communicating. That is so, so important. Nobody likes to feel like they're in the dark. People want to feel like they're heard. People want to feel like they're loved. So when it comes to communicating, this is what I want you guys to know. The truth is good enough. Okay? The truth is good enough. I tell people all the time, listen, you have got to be transparent with your team. You have got to be someone that is always telling the truth in everything that you do. Second thing that I wrote down is reliable when you're communicating, okay? They need to know you're reliable, meaning like, hey, can you be counted on, right? So imagine it's like you want to be that person. For those of you that maybe have ever seen boxing before, right? So you've got these opponents are in the boxing ring, they're boxing back and forth. You want to be the ultimate boxing coach, right? So when they take a timeout or a break or whatever you call it, right? And they go to their corners, you see their coaches. What do they do in that corner, right? Those coaches in the corner do what? They take care of them. They're there. You know what I mean? They do what they need to do. And so it's like, you've got to be willing to like be in that ring for your people constantly. And what I see sometimes people leaning on the ropes or half on, half off. I'm like, guys, if you aren't in the ring with your people, like they're going to be like, they don't got me, right? And here's the thing. I want to give you guys a secret. I've had more people join my business because I was reliable. Not because they knew anything about my business. Not because they knew about the amazing products. Not because they knew about the comp plan. They got in my business and also the team went to work because they knew they could count on me, right? So I want you guys to ask yourself right now, can I be counted on? Can I be counted on? Do I show up every day whether I want to or not? Does my team know that I am reliable? Or am I on and then off and then on and then off and then on and then off, right? Like if you are that, guys, you are going to have a hard time building trust inside of your organization. They need to know without a shadow of a doubt that guess what? You got them, okay? You've got them. Okay, another piece of communicating. First to apologize. Own it, okay? Here's something I got to break it to you guys. The bigger of a leader you become, the more you are going to have to apologize. You are going to apologize. I tell people all the time, you're going to apologize for stuff that you know that's not your fault. It doesn't matter. You got to apologize. You got to be the first to say, hey, like, I'm sorry that happened, or I know that I need to work on it, or thank you for bringing that to my attention, or I need to do a better job, or you know what, I'm sorry, you know, that you felt that way. Like, how can I make it better? Like, I tell you guys, I will tell you every day I am apologizing in a chat. Every day I'm connecting with someone saying, you know what, I need to do better. I need to do better as a leader. How can I better serve you? Like, what do I need to do? Like, be big enough to eat humble pie, put our ego in our back pocket and say, you know what, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. I apologize. Will you forgive me? I own up to it. Like, take the ownership of it all. Okay. So always be the first to apologize, no matter what. Whether in your mind, you know, without a shadow of a doubt that you're right. Guys, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? You got to pick your battles as you're growing an organization. So for me, I'm always the first to apologize. Okay. So the second one I want to talk to you guys about when it comes to building massive trust in your organization is connection. Okay. It is connection. So you have to be looking at your business and go, am I doing what I call transactions in my business? Or am I doing what's called interactions in my business? Big, big difference. Okay. So what does that mean? That means that, you know, as you are growing a business, making sure that you check yourself when it comes to authenticity. Like, how real are you being? You know, some of you guys have maybe heard me say this before, but you know, I heard a gentleman a long time ago in a training, and it just hit me so hard as he said, you can be impressive, but not likable. I'm going to say that again. Okay. You can be impressive, but not likable. If you are impressive, it's great and it feels good, right? It makes us feel great. But the reality is if you are not likable, you're going to have a hard time building trust with your team. You're going to have a hard time with people opening up, right? The question that I would ask you guys is, how open is your team with you? How open is your team with you, right? I'm gonna ask a lot of questions today on this training that is gonna make you take a step back and be reflective when it comes to building trust in your team, right? How open are they with you? Okay. So when it comes to that, which comes with like the interactions of the business, is that, I love this. I was actually at an event this past week, and one of the people that spoke, and I never really looked at it this way. I did it, but I just didn't call it this, is he said, you know what, you need to be on a constant listening tour with your team. Meaning having your listening ears out, meaning asking a lot of questions, getting to know your people, right? Because here's the thing, guys, if you are making a run for a higher rank in your business, it is not about you. It is about everybody else in your team doing a little bit, right? Helping them rank up, which means you're automatically going to rank up as well, right? So for that to happen, you need to make sure that you sit down with them and you do the interaction, meaning finding out what motivates them, what keeps them up at night, what are they excited about, what are they discouraged about, what are they scared about, what lights them on fire, right? Like you need to know all of these things. It's like an onion. You need to peel every single layer back, right? So you know how to work with somebody. And when you take that time to slow down, to speed up, they go, oh my God, this feels good. She actually gives a rip about me. She actually cares about me, right? So it's making them feel like, that you really, really care. So guys, when it comes to creating that trust as well, it's also making sure that you have impeccable follow through, meaning, do you do what you say you're going to do? Or do you have a lot of, empty promises? Do you have excuses on why you maybe didn't do something? Oh, I apologize, I got busy, or I'm sorry about this, right? It's really easy for us as we're leaders to justify why we maybe missed something or why we couldn't do something, right? Or do they know, again, it's going to go back to being the reliable, do they know that they got me? Do they know that like my follow through is my follow through? Do they know that your walk is your walk, right? Do they know that like it's not just about the talk where they're like, oh, here she goes again, here he goes again, right? But in their mind, do they really think like, yep, she's going to follow through with that? Like that to me is so important. Like I will never do something or never tell someone to do something unless I do it. Like I just am never, ever, ever going to do that, right? Because I know that little by little by little, I start losing trust and start losing trust and start losing trust, right? And again, our goal is to build an incredible solid foundation, right? To building a huge, huge business. Okay, the last thing is when it comes to connection is putting them first. So do you put them first, right? How do they feel? Do they feel heard? Do they feel loved? Do they feel listened to? Right? Not that you're going to sit there and listen to all their moans and groans and complaints, what have you, but do they feel heard? Right? Because if somebody feels heard, like they're going to be like, man, this feels good to me. Right? So, are you putting them first in everything that you do? Okay. Then the last one I want to talk about is culture. So you guys kind of notice there's 3 things in here I talked about, right? Creating solid ground is what? Communicating, connection, and culture. Okay. So culture, like what is your team known for? If I open this up and I said, hey, what is your team known for? Could you answer me right now? Could you give me an answer? Like without thinking about it, like just immediately spit it out, right? Could you answer? Well, if the answer is no, we got to work on that. We got to work on that really fast. Like what is your team vision? Not your vision, guys, your team vision, right? Like what's in it for them? Why are they doing that, right? What's in it for them, right? So I love the celebration and recognition. We got to go a little bit deeper than that though. Okay. A little bit even deeper than that, right? So when it comes to the culture, like what's your compassion like with them, right? Are you empathetic? Are you compassionate and empathetic? But also guys, at the same time, you can't buy into every single piece of that, right? With them, like having that compassion and understanding, but also know like, hey, I love you. I understand we're going through this. Like we're going to get through it. We're going to get on their side, right? We got to kind of keep going one step in front of the other, right? In everything that we do. What's your culture? Is it known as a safe place? Is it a safe haven? Do they feel like it's a place that they're always, people are uplifted? Is it a safe place that they know that they can go out there and they can run with their hair on fire, right? Do they feel like it's a safe place that they continuously can grow and get better, right? Is that a safe place? Do they feel like it's a safe haven? Then the last thing, two things I want to talk about is discipline. Okay, discipline. Right? So what is that culture? The culture is discipline, meaning doing the right thing every day. Like, are you constantly doing the right thing every day? Does your team know it? Do they see it? Do they feel it? Right? It's having a discipline to, again, it kind of all falls back, and guys, all this stuff kind of like encompasses each other, but it's like moving forward every day. Do you know why my team recruits every day? Because they know that Sarah Zolecki recruits every day. You know why my team does three-way chats every day? Because they know that Sarah Zolecki does three-way chats every day, right? Do you know why they're continuously building networks and growing and doing what they need to do and show up? You know why they're doing that, guys? Because they know that Sarah Zolecki does all of that every day. But I've had to make the discipline of it, right? I've had to put forth the effort to do it every day, even when I didn't feel it, even when emotionally I was fried, even when I was crabby, even when I was just like, I need a day. Guess what? I knew I had to have the discipline, because if I wasn't going to show up in my business, when would anybody else show up? If I'm not showing up, who am I doing a disservice? Who am I? Who am I when it comes to if I don't show up, my team's not going to show up. If I don't do the do, my team's not going to do the do, right? So I think that we have to look at are we willing to do the discipline? I promise you, if you are willing to do the discipline of the things we need to do each day to build solid ground, guys, you are going to build a team that is going to be so ridiculously solid. I'm just telling you, for decades and decades. But if you don't, you are going to be just like that 17-story building that goes up and it looks all pretty on the outside, but when it falls over, it's empty in the pylons because there's no trust, right? The foundation is so important. And then the last thing I want to share with you guys with culture is you have to focus on being the proper mold for your business. If you looked back at right now and you said, am I being the proper mold for my business? If everybody in my team was doing what I was doing right now, what would that look like, right? That was a big thing for me. I'd be like, would I want to sponsor me? Would I want to have a leader like me? Would I want, you know what I mean? And sometimes it hurts looking at that. I'm like, no, you know what? They probably wouldn't want a leader like me because I'm being lazy, because I'm not having discipline, because I'm not working on having more interactions and transactions, right? Would I want to sponsor me? Right? Would I want to lead? So I look at that everything that I do in my business is a direct reflection of everyone on my team, but also a direct reflection of you guys as well. So I think about, before I speak, right? And this is going to go a little deep for you guys, okay? So I know you might be like, whoa, right? But guys, everything that I do for Mode Air, I think about it before I speak it. Because I know that I'm a reflection of the entire company, of the entire leadership team, of the entire field. So before I do a three-way chat, before I do a live, before I do a post, before I do a story, before I do anything, I think about how would this affect everybody else? Because I know that building a business on solid ground is everything. It's everything, right? And what I want to share with you guys that is so incredible is that even if you started leading with these three things in your business, a lot of you guys that are worried about trying to hit a rank, trying to help somebody hit, guys, some of this stuff, you just got to focus on having discipline to just leading a little bit better, right? Taking these things and communicating better and connecting better and creating a culture that's just better, right? So I want to encourage you guys, I can promise you. I can promise. I know it's hard to give a guarantee, but I can guarantee you, because I've been through it, that when I decided to be a better communicator and I decided to build a much solid culture, and when I decided to really work hard on being a great connector, my entire business blew up. It completely blew up. So I want to encourage you guys today to take action on these 3 things. I'm excited to see where your business is going to grow. And just remember, trust is the foundation of your entire business. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.